Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Talks and Cakes in collaboration with Service Civil International, celebrating the International Day of Peace, focusing on actions and meeting with activists. And for today, I have a special guest who has a very long history in being activist, employee, and president for Service Civil International. Alexandra Vasileiou. Hi, Alexandra.
Hello, Ala. Thank you for inviting me. It is my pleasure that I accepted your invitation from the Asia International Secretariat and you to participate in this podcast for the
Thank
peace, I think, International Peace Day 25.
Yes, thank you, dear Alexandra, for accepting the invitation. I really appreciate it so much to have like voices from people who have been since the 90s involved with SCI, and really I appreciate that people would like to share their voices in the public and for people to hear really because today is already about like our voices to be up when we are advocating for causes, for peace, for anti-militarism and this stuff. So it's really so much appreciated.
I
And
also, I also thank you for giving me this opportunity. And it's always a pleasure to see and talk with you, Ala. Always a pleasure.
thank you.
You're
Thank you
a
so much.
lovely and courageous woman.
Thank you. Really. Same for me. And I feel like we always get inspired by the people who started this path before us, you know. So really, it's always very inspiring to be surrounded by people who had started this. So maybe I would like to ask you how did you start with the Service Civil International? I know a little bit, some in like flashbacks from your journey with SCI, but if you'd like to
Mhm.
share how you started your activism, it's this would be cool.
Yeah, sure. I started in 1983 when I participated in my first workcamp in Switzerland. And this is where the Swiss people of the SCI told me about what they're doing and how they are doing, and if I wanted to start something in Greece. So in '83, coming back to my country, I started to find a group of people that we wanted to found SCILS at the same year. So in '83, I did my second workcamp in Greece, in Kalavrita, a martyr town, which is very famous in Greece, of what happened there in 1943. And then I'm a 43-year activist in SCI. I served as international treasurer in the SCI International Executive Committee from December 18 to December 22. And then I had the honor to serve as international president in the IEC from December 22 to December 24. And I think this is with SCI. It's a lifelong journey. Once you are in SCI, you are always SCI. It's a lifelong. It never ends. This
Did your
trip.
journey with SCI change how you would see the world, maybe, especially today?
Yeah, of course, it changed how I see the world. And I think my very first welcome in 1983 in Kalavrita, in the town of Kalavrita, I said before,
Yeah.
it gave me another perspective, and this is what made me believe more in the values and causes that SCI is serving. And I'll tell you one example.
Yeah.
This town that we decided to make work camps there, it's a martyr town which has suffered tremendous destruction during the Axis occupation between 41 and 44. And the volunteers that we had there from different countries visited a male survivor from the Calabrita massacre, which happened back in early December 43. At that time, the Nazi occupants killed all the male population over 12 years old and burned down the whole village in a retaliation act. So during that massacre, 693 civilians were killed, but 13 males survived while they were buried under the bodies of already dead people. And the last shot didn't really got them killed. One of the survivors was Argyris Ferlelis, whom the volunteers wanted to interview and visit his house. Among the volunteers, there were German and Austrian volunteers, and you know that the German and Austrian occupants were present at that massacre at that time. Argyris welcomed all of us without exceptions, without resentment, without any bitterness. That was surprising. The German volunteers also listened to the survivor's story with respect and dignity. This is right there that I realized that SCI's mission to bring together people from different backgrounds, different cultures and ethnicities, to discuss and work together, creating an inclusive environment, is one of the best ways to pursue peace. And from then on, I stuck with SCI, and SCI stuck with me, of course.
Nice. Yeah, I really like can relate that all starts, like from our how we say, like our experiences in our countries, in our cities, and where do we come from. It's really, as you said, like in our spaces, we experience militarization, we experience massacres, we experience wars. I know that this was also the 90s, but yeah, these days as well, like we are witnessing similar. And for me, it's a crazy how history repeats itself in different places and different, like really, it's like in Arabic we would say like nobody has escaped from this, which means like everyone is included in this like militarization around the world and the impact of this. But I know also like in Greece, military service is mandatory. Do you think, like considering really the history of Greece and the situation today, do you think like Greek activists and young people, especially when they become advocates for peace or advocates for anti-militarism, do you think this also brings some hope to the Greek community or to the country?
Mhm. Yes, sure. In SCILS, one of the topics that we promote and we like to advocate for is nonviolence and anti-militarism and voluntary military service. Yes, it is. The military service here in Greece is mandatory, but there is a law that you can apply. Young people can apply. We have one young person in Athens right now who was called for his military service, but he applied for to be exempted, and he is going through kind of interviews and kind of medical tests and all this kind of tests, and he's gonna wait for the answer if he can do an alternative service or not. And it's very, very hard. And usually the last person that decides about it is not the doctors or the military people that interview you, it's the ministry itself. So they don't like to be in favor of this kind of applications, of course. So they try to cut down these applications for alternative military service as much as they can. So for this person in SCILS, where really everybody's anxious, and when we have different occasions, we advocate for alternative military service. And this year there were at least two public, let's say, we organized two public, how to say, speech, I would say, yes, with other partners, the Conscientious Objector, which is another organization in Athens that we really collaborate with and try to advocate for this quite a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know if I answered your question really, but
yeah, it really answered. Like, really, it's about like, today, or like how people really deal with this, which is, I think, you highlighted for me like the part for Greece, but do you have also like a point of view about generally the global north, how they can, especially people like activists and volunteers, or like everyone who is specialized in this aspect, how can their role like be more visible or like more rooted when they are fighting or supporting the people who are fighting for justice in colonized places?
mhm.
Maybe
Yeah.
based on your experience, if you have like some learned lessons, or if you have like some thoughts that maybe you personally believe, it can also be.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, as you know, SEI is really advocating in this project decolonize volunteering, along with other networks and CCIVS. So there is a lot going on there during this project. And I think volunteers from the global north, while traveling into the global south, should be very, very humble. They should be discreet. They should be respectful. They should be good listeners, and they should respond to the needs expressed by the occupied or colonized places. We shouldn't like organize solutions, ready-made solutions in the north, and then we try to employ them in the south. That's not the way to do things.
Yeah.
These volunteers should not succumb to the white savior complex, as we call it,
Yeah.
but rather work side by side to achieve the goals set by the local people. So a good example is the global response to the Palestine genocide and ethnic cleansing, with protests all over the world to raise awareness, local activism, and now with the global Sumud flotilla, which is traveling in Mediterranean
Yeah.
to break the Israeli siege and deliver humanitarian aid like food and medicine. So eyes on Gaza and keep talking about the ethnic cleansing and genocide. It is a request made by the Palestinians themselves.
Yeah.
So I think we're responding to this. And as one of our SCI Palestinian partners advised us during a meeting, he said, we asked him, what do you need? And he said, make noise, do not be silent. This is what we need more than anything else.
Yes.
So, yes,
And I believe there
res-
is solidarity. It really matters a lot, because also Palestinians in Palestine, they, how we say, like part of the censorship, that they don't see that the world is in solidarity with them. They try like to not show images from abroad. So then, for how we say, like to disappoint Palestinians internally, that nobody's listening to you, or nobody's seeing that you are being genocided. So when people really see that there is noise outside for them, even if it's not stopping the genocide directly, but it makes us feel like, yeah, no, the world is with us, so then our cause is alive and it will never be erased.
mhm.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I've
of
had it
course.
really with SCI. So many people, they come to the events, like they're Palestinians or like Arabs, and say, okay, this is a great work that we never heard or know about, that people are doing some efforts for us.
Mhm,
Yeah, so that's really matters. I would say like even emotionally, it just like helps the people, like who are like in the survival mode, that they are not alone, or there is people with power are really like advocating and trying to
mhm,
change the
mhm.
reality. Yeah, that's really.
Yeah, also the group, I think you also belong to the No More War group in SCI, is doing quite a good job advocating for no more war, no violence, and bringing about the war zones, not only in Palestine, but in other places like Sudan, Congo. And this is what SCI is supposed to do, I think.
Well, I really agree.
bring awareness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really agree. The No More War, it was timely significant when it was established. I think it was established in the time of the start of the war in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's I think it was the year of or a year after the war in Ukraine. And then really like the group now it's working in the good time, just in sense that there is, as you said, like Congo, Sudan, Ukraine, Palestine. It's like everywhere escalation of wars, and everyone is talking about Third World War and nuclear threats and this. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I really appreciate that the structure of the group, the support that as well, like the group is receiving from branches and partners in SCI who are really like really supportive for the work.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like being a collective for activists. This is also, I think, nice in SCI that activists they gather together and there is collective, collaborative effort as well between people. Really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the whole meaning of SCI, I think.
Yeah,
Bringing together people, talking about peace and how to maintain peace and how to be solidary with the people that are suffering
yeah,
under war and violence. And Asia is trying its best to
yeah.
educate the young people. And I think more or less with the size that we have and the resources that we have, I think we are doing a good job towards this cause.
Yes, which is
Mhm.
really great. And then maybe this would lead me like to another questions, like from your experience in SCI or like peace work in general, is there like a lesson in your mind that you can think this like the world can learn from today, and who can hear maybe like this, like or to whom you would send maybe like this learning?
Mhm. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm a teacher, a retired teacher, and I always teach lessons to students.
Yes.
But right now, I do not think I can teach the world a lesson from my peace work, really.
Yeah.
The only thing, yeah, the only thing I can say from my experience is to be kind, to respect each other as you would like to be respected from other people. Listen, stop and reflect critically before engaging in interaction. Be solidary, as we said before, and do not be afraid to smile. Do not be afraid to spread kindness. And all people need a supportive and understanding and a sincere relationship with everyone else. I think that would be my
Which I think
not
really like,
lesson, but let's say an advice.
yeah, really like I feel this is also what our humanity today needs to hear it, like the humanitarian part of our existence in this world. It's really what you said, like just really ensuring these values, people really to follow these values, then our life gonna get easier at somehow, really, like in this. But yeah, actually, these were my thoughts about the International Day of Peace. I don't know if you have any other thoughts or any other messages or points that you would like to share for the International Day of Peace this year.
Yeah, I mean, teachers and parents at homes, they can teach children that violence does not resolve the conflicts. Nonviolent communication is important in social interactions because we can see a rise in violence in schools, at least here in Greece, and I would guess in other countries too. So we have a lot of a big duty towards our children and how we teach them how to behave, to have a critical thinking and reflective contemplation, so they can respond better and question the obedience that is promoted by some institutions, even in schools.
Definitely.
But questioning obedience is something that we can teach critically. Questioning it, we can teach our children. And we all see that nationalism is on the rise
Right.
in the late years. And let's try to engage in discussions on who is profiting from this rise of nationalism and how the interests of everyday people is not served by this rise. So I don't like to be ordered around, and I do not practice it either.
Yeah.
So negotiating with people, discuss and come to a mutual agreement together with respect to everybody's needs. Also, I would suggest not to wear to follow military-like fashion because it makes us accustomed to the idea of militarism, and also do not follow military celebrations, military parades that some countries also promote. Try to avoid this militarization idea that is really promoted by different countries and different institutions because they serve their own causes. And this is all against the cause of peace that Asia is promoting.
Yeah.
I think that's one kind of last advice I could give.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you, really. Like the rise of nationalism, it is scary, it's also difficult. As you said, I feel like through negotiations, through like collective actions, it can really change stuff and for the world really like to stand on the right side. Um, and the right side of good things rather than like on the
Mhm.
right aspects of really like rising of racism or discrimination or even like really
Mhm.
all like these issues. But no, really, I appreciate your advices and your thoughts. Again, like it really matters to hear experience from people who have been in the society since long time ago, also for the new generation to hear these things because the new generation is are having a new experience uh, different like traumatic actions in our world recently. It's also really different, I would say like maybe different politics, different really like agenda for this time. So it's really matters so much to hear um, your thoughts
Yeah. Mhm.
and
Thank you, Ala.
yeah,
I think we all learn from each other. Even older people than me, we learn from the new generation, from people of your generation. When I talk with my nieces, when I talk with young people in SALS, with children of my friends, I always appreciate what the new and fresh perspective that they bring to
yeah,
the world. And their stories are also valued and important, I think, and we all learn from each other. It's like a continuous education and negotiation and exchange between the generations.
yeah,
So
definitely.
it's very important that we talk with each other, either young or old or whatever age.
Yeah, exactly. No, I totally agree, really. And yeah, that was like the end of the episode. And yeah, again, really, thank you so much, Alexandra, for your time, for your effort, and again, your willingness to accept the invitation to be part of this podcast series. I hope that really like your voice and the voices of other volunteers and activists who joined the podcast to be really heard and to leave good influence and impact in the society for young people and also for old people, like for everyone really who's
Mhm.
interested as well, like in peace work, in peace education and advocacy. So yeah, really thank
Yeah.
you for today.
It was a pleasure and an honor, I think, to talk with you, Ala. You know that since your term in the IS office, you know that I appreciate you and I admire you and your courage, your work, your ideas, your commitment to these ideas. So it was a pleasure to talk a little bit with you, to make this podcast with you. And I'm very, very happy. Thank you so much, Ala. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you. Same. I always really surrounded with the right people, it can get this part of us out, like so I feel like yeah, in SCI really being surrounded by good nice people, it really made this experience continues and grow like more and more, really.
True, true. Thank you once more.